Senator's had several plans so far. And anytime someone tells you you're going to get something good in 10 years, you should wonder why it takes 10 years. If you notice, there's no talk about the fact that the plan in 10 years will cost $3 trillion. You will lose your employer-based insurance. And in fact, this is the single most important issue facing the public. And to be very blunt and to be very straightforward, you can't beat President Trump with double talk on this plan.
Your response, Senator Harris?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, Vice President Biden, you're just simply inaccurate in what you're describing.
All right. It seems like for some weird reason, people love to just conveniently get the Mandela's effect. You understand? With that being said, listen, sometimes you have to go and do your research. Don't forget about the important things that happen in our current event lives. You understand what I'm saying? It seems like people forgot when Kamala was going in. Is it Kamala? Y'all let me know how to say it correctly, because a lot of people be going in on me when it comes to that. No Diddy. But look, it seems like people are forgetting the fact that she was ridiculing him as if he was an arch nemesis. You understand? Like he was the enemy. And all of a sudden, now they all buddy. I say this relationship is faker than Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Check this out.
But Harris made it clear she has no plans of easing up, hammering Biden on health care.
Your plan does not cover everyone in America by your staff's and your own definition. You do nothing to hold the insurance companies to task for what they have been doing to American families.
Biden fired back, saying Harris's plan will cost too much and take too long to implement.
This idea is a bunch of malarkey, what we're talking about here. I don't know what math you do in California, but I tell you, that's a lot of money, and there will be a deductible.
After her strong performance in the first debate, Harris was also forced to play defense. Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard slamming Harris's record as a prosecutor.
In the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
She the one who put the nail in the coffin as far as her trying to win the presidential debate back in the 2020 primaries. You understand? After this, she was no longer there. I guess a lot of people forgot about that.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty.
But it was Biden's record that dominated the night under relentless assault. President Obama's former housing secretary, Julian Castro, hitting the former vice president on the high rate of deportations under the Obama administration.
Mr. Vice President, it looks like one of us has learned the lessons of the past and one of us hasn't. What we need are politicians that actually have some guts on this issue.
I have guts enough to say his plan doesn't make sense.
New York Mayor Bill de Blasio piling on.
If you're debating Donald Trump, he's not going to let you off the hook. So did you say those deportations were a good idea? Or did you go to the president and say, this is a mistake, we shouldn't do it? Which one?
According to Customs and Border Protection, this disruption started at about 1:30 on Sunday, and this happened at the Paso del Norte Bridge in El Paso, Texas. Now, this connects El Paso to Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, and CBP says that they deployed physical barriers to stop this attempted mass entry into the United States.
I was vice president. I am not the president. I keep my recommendation in private.
On criminal justice reform, Senator Cory Booker and Biden going head to head.
If you want to compare records, and frankly, I'm shocked that you do, I am happy to do that.
There was nothing done for the entire 8 years he was mayor.
So on the issue of race, I couldn't agree more that this is an issue that is still not being talked about truthfully and honestly. There is not a black man I know, be he a relative, a friend, or a coworker, who has not been the subject of some form of profiling or discrimination. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Growing up, my sister and I had to deal with the neighbor who told us her parents couldn't play with us because we were black. And I will say also that...
You mean because you was Indian, huh? Let's not confuse the people. Let's not trick the people anymore. Let's be truthful, all right?
That in this campaign, we've also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden, I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but...
You see, like, you know how some girls, when they start to cry as they're telling you a story, and there's a certain part of the story where they get very dramatic so that you could really believe it? That's what I'm getting from her at that one point right there. It's all phony baloney. I'm telling you, as far as you people who want to be Democrats or Republicans, I say this, right? Democrats, you guys got tricked. Y'all got tricked. Y'all didn't even get a choice. You guys didn't even get a choice of which Democrat to choose from in order to run for the election. It was given to you. Is that the new rules now? Let me know.
You also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
And they already debunked that. She keeps continuously lying about everything. It seems like what she does is she watches and say, all right, you can get canceled for talking about this. I'm going to defend them then. So these people, this group of people could start supporting me. That's what she's doing right now. That's all I'm getting right now. I see a lot of fakeness.
So I will tell you that on this subject, it cannot be an intellectual debate among Democrats. We have to take it seriously. We have to act swiftly. As Attorney General of California, I was very proud to put in place a requirement that all my special agents would wear body cameras and keep those cameras on.
Senator Harris, thank you. Vice President Biden, you have been invoked. We are going to give you a chance to respond. Vice President Biden.
It's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. I did not praise racist. That is not true. Number one. Number two, if we want to have this campaign litigated on who supports civil rights and whether I did or not, I'm happy to do that.
This is why you got to be careful. You see how she was calling him racist and now they're running together? If he was racist and praising racism, why would you be his running mate? Shouldn't you have said, why would I want to be a running mate to a racist? You understand what I mean? Now you can see for yourself. Her only mission is just to get to the top by any means necessary. It doesn't matter. I
was a public defender. I didn't become a prosecutor. I came out and I left a good law firm to become a public defender. When in fact my city was in flames because of the assassination of Dr. King. Number one. Number two, as the Vice President of the United States, I work with a man who, in fact, we worked very hard to see to it we dealt with these issues in a major, major way.
And I have to butt in right there because even with Obama being the black president, ain't do anything for the black community. They're still requesting the same thing. You understand? My communities are, unfortunately, they're just requesting the same nonsense over and over and over again. When will we wake up? You let me know.
The fact is that in terms of busing, the busing, you would have been able to go to school the same exact way because it was a local decision made by your city council. That's fine. That's one of the things I argued for, that we should be breaking down these lines.
Who Kamala thinks she is? Ruby Bridges? Huh? She always trying to steal someone else's situation. Y'all don't notice that?
But so the bottom line here is, look, everything I've done in my career, I ran because of civil rights. I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
But Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then.
No.
Do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Well,
I
there
did
was
not
a
oppose.
failure of states to integrate
No,
public
but
schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
Do you not see what's going on right now? You see, now that she's the vice president, what they're saying is she's just the vice president. She's not really capable of, pushing the buttons. But here she is ridiculing a vice president, a former vice president, and blaming him the way she's being blamed now. But the only difference is she's not sticking to it. You see, y'all got to see the rhetoric right now, man. Y'all got to pay attention to these things. This is why if you follow up with all of these primary elections, you won't get fooled. They can't trick you. But you guys don't watch that. You're always watching BT, MTV. You're always watching sports, and you're not really concerned only until election season. And that's impossible for you to know someone's track record in such a short time.
Because your city council made that decision. It was a
So
local
that's
decision.
where the federal government must step in.
The
That's why we have the
federal
Voting
government
Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the
Voting Rights
ERA,
Act.
because
We have rights
there
to
are
vote.
moments in history where states fail to preserve the civil rights of
I
all
have
people.
supported the ERA from the very beginning when I
Vice
ran
President
for the
Biden, 30 seconds, because I want to bring other people into this.
I supported the ERA from the very beginning. I'm the guy that extended the Voting Rights Act for 25 years. We got to the place where we got 98 out of 98 votes in the United States Senate doing it. I've also argued very strongly that we, in fact, deal with the notion of denying people access to the ballot box. I agree that everybody, once they, in fact, they should. Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Vice President.
I hope y'all seeing through the BS, huh? I hope y'all being on point. Don't get fooled. Don't get tricked. Do your own due diligence. Make sure you research correctly, all right? With that being said, let me know your thoughts. Go in the comments. Run it up. Flood it up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love.